Hey, how about that for a sudden stop? Can you guys hear me well? Let me just check my mic. I got this great Sennheiser mic, but sometimes it doesn't seem to go well, or sometimes it over calibrates, so I can hear a crackling in the background. Great to see you all. Thanks for coming today, and excited to be here. Happy Tuesday. What a bloody weekend that was. If you haven't lost money in the weekend, I don't know what and who and how brilliant you are, unless you're Warren Buffett, who ultimately, let's face it, was just brilliant in his move and basically going cash all in. And we all thought he was crazy, but ultimately, I guess, you never time it a 100% on, but ultimately he timed it pretty well. I mean, yeah. Hi, I'm Stefan Roost. I'm here to talk about Truflation and the power of the Truth Network, a fully decentralized economic database for you to access and anybody to access, immutable, transparent, etc. You can check it out at truth.network and truflation.com. Follow, subscribe, hit the links, hit the alert, all the stuff. But that's where you get the alpha, and we try to deliver some sort of alpha over here and give you a bit of context of what we think is really going on. And what we're doing is cutting these shorter, so sticking to three themes. And obviously, tariffs is the big theme going on right now. We'll talk a bit about Mar-a-Lago and what's coming up over there. And then we're going to talk about what's going on in China. And then some sort of quick news out there. Penguins, what's going on with these penguins everywhere? And then lastly, get ready for Thursday when we have, or tomorrow, we have our spaces. So let's go into it. We don't have much time, so I want to keep you excited and keep you happy with all the stuff that we will be sharing. But let me just come over here and start sharing. So we were talking about penguins, right? And if you watched our podcast last Thursday, we talked about the penguins and this funky island. Okay, this isn't funky island off Australia, but anyway, here, this is Mumble, a tax evader. He was offered to pay 10% tariffs on all exports of song and dance and refused to pay. When confronted, he just scored of confusion. Fortunately, President of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, was kind enough to house him in CISOT. Thank you, Naeem. I mean, I don't know. That wasn't quite what I was thinking about. I guess that's what it is. But I thought this was pretty funny as well. So, the first foreign delegation has arrived to negotiate tariffs. So, what was that island called again? Off the coast of Australia? Anybody know? Anybody know? No? Let me know, please. But yeah, this is, look at that, TruflationNation trading now. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty funny. So people making a lot of laugh about this island where nobody lives other than penguins that has to pay 10% tariffs. But yeah, so have you owned who owns Pudgy Penguin? Sorry, Pengu token. Anyway, if you do, join the club. They're doing some real good stuff, taking digital assets and connecting that with real world experiences. So I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. So check them out. But yeah, the price is down a bit. Like everybody, it's been a red and bloody day. But there has been some significant activity across the crypto markets case. At least people are starting to see acquisitions in the crypto landscape, right? In February, we saw Circle acquire Hashnote. So getting into indexing. Trend there. Have we heard of index.fun? If you haven't, let's get into it. Check it out. Index.fun. Soon, anybody can create an index instantly. So in like 5 minutes, you can launch your own index based on your preferences, your criteria, using 80,000 different data sources and items out there, including weather. And wow, we got some good stuff coming out, but let me move on. But this was a huge acquisition, 1.25 billion. I mean, nothing in contrast to hundreds of billions of dollars in acquisitions at the mega level. But this is still big for crypto, and a really smart move from Ripple to really take its RLUSD, which is their stablecoin, not as good because it's centralized, not your keys, not your coins. It's not like Nuon.fi, which is a yield-bearing stablecoin, ensuring you against truflation. So anything that you experience, you will ultimately always be protected, and your purchasing power will always be protected. But anyway, check out Nuon.fi. But here, what they're trying to do is leverage the prime brokerage capabilities with all these relationships from Hidden Road, right? Representing one of the largest deals in the digital space. So huge, right? In crypto, I mean, we don't see many acquisitions. And now I guess that we have a regulatory environment that is a lot more friendly. We will see more acquisitions like this, especially from traditional players trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so what are we going to see in the token space? How is that acquisition going to see? And watch out for next week. We will hopefully be sharing some interesting insights as well. So stay tuned. But yeah, with the acquisition, Ripple becomes the first crypto company to own and operate a global multi-asset prime brokerage. So Hidden Road does normal brokerage, so in TradFi, and also in crypto. What does that really mean, right? So financing foreign exchanges, they do digital assets, derivatives, swaps, and fixed income. So they act as the middleman. If you need something, you go to them, they'll go and source it, pull it all together, and make sure it's available to you across cryptocurrency at big size, right? So just think of them as a wholesale broker. And then they have all these smaller brokers that they work with to do the dealing with. And so for Ripple, it's an amazing level to then strategy to build out their rails using Hidden Road's network. And guess what? Hidden Road will be running on the Ripple network. So interesting for all you Ripple holders. Congratulations. Yeah, good move by, I don't know, how did the XRP price go? Let's check out XRP. I didn't check that out, actually. I should have before this call. So only up a little bit. But I think it traded up on the news. So this seems to be some sort of up movement. Look at that volume. Bang. Up to $13 million in, no more, $13 billion in volume. Wow. And look at that pump there. That must be just on the announcement. Yeah, big market makers doing big moves there. Yeah, so that was exciting, good news. So not is all glim in the crypto space, and with a lot of activity taking place. So the other thing is, a lot of you know, it is inflation week, right? So of course I'm going to be talking about inflation if we've got Truflation out there, right? And what I want to do is tomorrow live, we will have a Spaces together with Michael Green, and Oliver will be sharing his update on where Truflation forecasts the slow and lagging BLS numbers are going to come out at, right? The Bureau of Lagging Statistics. We have to slow down our numbers, and Oliver with the team over and the data team over at Truflation are heavily focused on now getting that prediction going. And remember, 99.96% accuracy on the prediction here. We think it's going down. So inflation will go down. More pressure for increasing and decreasing the yield, the interest rates, sorry, not the yield. Let's see what we have here. Our favorite channel, the Fed Watch. I haven't been on here for a while. Ooh, but still, a lot of people don't think it's going to change. Look at this, pretty sloppy. I would have thought this would have been higher. I personally, this is on 7th of May, think that we're going to see a 50 basis drop. And on Polymarket, you can earn quite a bit of money around that. If you aren't on Polymarket yet, oh man, this site blocks me here. Yeah, but there you go. It is, people are still predicting downside there, but ultimately Oliver has prepared with the team again, put together a whole report for the March. So it's already breaking down. I'm giving you a preview here. This is alpha. You do not get this anywhere else. Subscribe, hit the like button, follow the channel. This is where you get it. And I can see Oliver's most probably watching this, shooting me now in his mind for actually disclosing it before it's even public, right? But here we're seeing a drop. The economy's expanded. Tariffs will not take into effect yet, so it's still coming in a bit later. But here, what are we seeing? Rising disposable income, right? Savings rates, consumer confidence. So he'll be talking all about this and giving you a detailed insight into this and what. Scroll. So hope you didn't see that. But yeah, I mean, we're predicting a decline. So he's sort of forecasting, expecting nothing solid here. You have to come and listen to the Spaces tomorrow to get the real number. And we will be sharing that in a PowerPoint. If you're a subscriber, you will be getting that tomorrow in a PowerPoint and this Word document. Right now, lots of different numbers. You can see they're working really hard to bring this out and get this on the money for you, so you have a bit of a competitive advantage. So please remember, tomorrow it's at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on X. So come and join us and find out. You can hear it there first. So it's not all gloomy. We had a brutal week last week, but this week and today looks like a nice day. Very green, as you can see on these mind maps. So yeah, we're moving to a green area, but it's not all that green, right? So we all talked about tariffs. Everybody's talking about tariffs. You know what's going on in tariffs, but ultimately, what is the issue? Why does the US and why does Trump have to address it and address it now? He wants to address it now because there are midterm elections coming up next year. We got to fix the economy as fast as we can right up front so that we look really good when the midterm comes along and the elections come along, that the economy is already recovering and hitting its stride so that the elections get won and the dominance and the ability to execute and convert a lot of these executive orders into bills and actually have them a lot of old laws cut out and new laws put in place, and these bills will drive that. So that's really the issue behind it. But ultimately, you're looking at $1.3 trillion in annual debt. I mean, that's like huge, right? I mean, that's $36 trillion. That's not like they're spending or anything. That's just import, trade negative, trade loss, right? I mean, that's just import versus minus exports. Exports minus imports, minus $1.3 trillion. That's a lot of money. And obviously at a debt ratio, which is already about nearly 37 trillion, interest rate being $1 trillion alone, you've got now growing at $2 trillion, not taking income into account. But yeah, that's just a lot of debt there that needs to be fixed. And that's why we have these tariffs in place. So again, if you're a subscriber to Truflation, you've got our newsletter, you're listening and following us on Twitter, you're getting updates here right away. We posted this a while back, I think 2 days ago already. Yeah, you can see, actually on Twitter it was 2 days ago. This then went live on a blog post yesterday. But here you can see what and the impact is for the automotive industry, the fuel prices, housing, maple syrup. Canada's a big exporter of maple syrup. What's that mean for the US? A lot of US's imports for maple syrup comes out of Canada. Avocados come from Mexico. We all love our avocados, avocado toast, etc. So all of that is documented here, and you can see then what the potential impact is of each of those and how that breaks down with regard to the source where it's coming from. Electric batteries, 56% of the material is coming from China. And so that's going to have a significant impact on batteries until the capacity to produce this domestically and extract the minerals needed for batteries domestically is going to have an impact. But as we talked about last time, if you were watching our show on Thursday, that certain elements are exempt from this, right? So energy related, semiconductor related, compute related, battery related, the materials needed to manufacture the batteries, those are all excluded in the calculations. They have not excluded, sorry, they have exemptions. That's the word I was looking for. Anyway, that was that. Yeah. And so that's still got to be tackled, but these tariffs are really working out. I mean, all of this threat and everything, South Korea comes back and says, no, we want to negotiate a deal. You see here, Netanyahu got rid of tariffs, no more tariffs, zero tariff ratio, US and Israel combined. You have here Meloni from Italy traveling to the US to negotiate tariffs with Trump in person. What is that going to look like? There is a new alliance forming around the world. There is a Budapest alliance together with Italy, together with Argentina, together with Poland. And Poland will soon be the most powerful economy across Europe. Imagine what that is. Those dynamics are really going to shift, right? And I think the Western Europe has no idea the working capacity and drive and effort and engagement at a 9-9-6 level, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. That is what they do in China. That's double the workload in Europe. Productivity gains with AI, with technology deployment across the US will drive an increase in capacity up to 1.8%, 8x every single employee you have there, right? Not to mention maybe double the capability. What does that mean, right? So all of a sudden, everywhere the work capacity is increasing, the efficiencies are increasing, and the products coming out of that, the learnings driven out of that, having manufacturing very close to your R&D, very close to your customer, is allowing you to optimize, tweak, improve, and a rapid iteration that it gives you a significant competitive advantage. And that's what's happening in China. Look at some of the videos on YouTube around the electric cars. Look how they compare. There was this great video where they had the BYD, I don't know, something car compared to the BMW and compared to the Audi car. The Audi was going over bumps like this, and BMW, the same thing, wobble, wobble, wobble. And the BYD, flat. The wheels were doing all the up and down, but in the car was solid. But the wheels were going up and down. So all of that was happening, and that was happening. So that was really interesting to see. That is the innovation, and that is the leapfrogging that has happened. How do we deal with that? What does that mean? How does the world order change? And obviously, there is this ongoing battle between China and the US. And you can see that element of the tariff negotiation hasn't ended. But I think it's just a bit more chest thumping than real. These guys are going to get to the table and they're going to solve it. They have to solve it. There is such a trade between China exporting to the US. The US has the biggest consumer market in the world today, right? And so that export is shifting to the US. So there has to, and there will be a deal done. The question is, what does that deal look like? How will it go? And they will sit together. One thing we do know, Trump did invite Xi Jinping to his inauguration. So there was a gathering. There is a channel that is open. So let's see. I'm sure they will close this channel. And this is just United States imports a total of $500 billion from China per year. How much do they export to China? We don't know. But yeah, so that's a huge amount. So there is a negotiation going to come. They are crunching, pounding the chest. And one thing China is doing is they are offloading their treasuries. So they own bonds. They are selling the bonds in the market. People are buying those bonds. And those bonds, by the way, have a lower interest rate. And so when the yield of a 10-year bond goes up, that means the price of the unique element goes down because people are dumping it in the market. So in order to make it more attractive, it needs to have a higher yield. Otherwise, people won't buy it, and that becomes more expensive. So that's what's taking place right now. And you can see it's growing. It's also depegging the renminbi currency. So as they're selling, they're also that dollar into renminbi or buying renminbi. And so if they're doing that, they're dropping and throwing renminbi. Actually, no, they must be selling and printing renminbi and holding on to the dollar, because most of the contracts are going to be in dollars anyway. And so they need to pay them in dollars. And also the other thing that we talked about a long time ago is, and I shared this with you, is how much cash is sitting in the Chinese headlines. I mean, the numbers vary from, I don't know, somebody was telling me like 5-6 trillion. Here we have 1 trillion and 1 trillion US dollar deposits in Hong Kong. And then in US dollars, look, you got nearly $2-3 trillion here. And what we talked about is the fact that these guys are going to create a new financial network. They've already started to create a digital payment network. So they've started building this out. China launches to compete and bypass SWIFT. So this SWIFT thing, which is old rails, it's old system anyway, China has launched a new modern system. And we've been talking about this. If you've been paying attention to the show, we've been talking about this for quite a while. And so now here, we're finally coming to the time where it's becoming live and people are becoming to know about it. PBOC just connected. its digital renminbi to 10 ASEAN and 6 Middle Eastern nations, covering 38% of global trade. So more and more of the trade will start shifting into another currency. It most probably will still be in US dollars. I don't know if people are really ready to have the renminbi. Maybe they are. Who knows? But digital renminbi, I don't know, sounds like CBDC to me. Maybe people are a bit nervous about that. I sure would be. But either way, they're launching that. And they can actually do a Asia dollar, very much like the euro dollar, which is all the dollars managed outside of the US and as a collective, as a separate financial haven for the dollar. So you can go to that separate bank because it has so much in reserve there. Could you do the same in Asia? So let's say Hong Kong launches an Asia dollar hub. And ultimately, all of those trading partners, those 38 countries, or no, 10 and 6 different countries, can go and borrow in US dollars from that entity, maybe pay a bit more. But ultimately, you don't need to always go back to the US and trade out there. You can trade. And that also allows China, Japan, Korea, and Hong Kong, and maybe Singapore, and maybe other nations as well, to trade their treasury bills and their dollars in the domestic market. So what is that going to look like? How's that going to hit, right? Here, Middle Eastern energy traders are in, okay? ASEAN renminbi trade hit 5.8 trillion renminbi. So that's divide that by 7. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at just shy of about $800 billion worth of trade. Thailand settled oil in digital renminbi. Interesting. So it's coming, right? And so what does that mean? I don't think it's going to mean de-dollarization, right? We talked about stablecoins and how the dollar will allow, and holding treasuries under the new Genius framework will allow any bank to issue stablecoins, dollar-backed stablecoins. And these stablecoins are going to flourish around the world, be hot swappable. They're the same currency. They're just digital. It's going to be the Ripple stablecoin. It's going to be the Bank of America stablecoin. It's going to be JPM. It's going to be maybe even the HSBC US dollar stablecoin, or maybe even the Bank of China USD stablecoin, right? So ultimately, anybody that has treasuries can now issue their own stablecoin under the Genius Act. It doesn't only apply to domestic. I'm sure you can take that ruling and extend that into other markets, or they all have branches in the US, so they can leverage their treasuries outside, transfer pricing, issue stablecoins in the US. Or they'd be issued under the US entity. So there are ways around this. I'm sure the lawyers are way smarter than I am and can come up with some brilliant number to do this. Yeah, so that was that. We covered the China tariffs, we covered trade, we talked about inflation. Are you ready? Have you signed and set the reminder to your X Spaces tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. ET? And now we're just going to cover off some things we want to talk about on Thursday. The big Mar-a-Lago conversation. So we've heard two things we've been talking about a lot, which was the Asia dollar and the Asia clearinghouse, which we're seeing is now going live and seeing a lot of trading traffic there, but also the Plaza Accord, which happened back in the 70s, and the new equivalent of that, the Mar-a-Lago agreement. So here, there's a post around that from Students of Liberty. He goes into it, explains it a little. Here, let's go into the thread. I don't know why I'm not in here. Phew. Doesn't like to display it. Wow, a lot of words here. But if you stay tuned quickly, next Thursday we'll be covering it as well. What's the potential? What are the components of it? What's the implementation method, the benefits and significant risks? And you'll hear alpha and this conversation, which is what we try to share with you all the time. Yeah, that's that. We've got a lot of references. Do Americans want? I don't think Americans even know what it really is. And so what we'll try to do is help explain what it really means. Yeah, I think here everybody's saying agree versus don't agree. I think the US dollar benefits from the dollar's role in the world leading currency. I think everybody agrees with that. The US government should weaken the value of the dollar and the world markets would boost American exports. 100%. I think everybody's trying to see this happen. They want the dollar to decrease so exports can be higher. Here, another source at FinlyMize, really good newsletter, by the way, if you're interested into the financial news and economics. Here's why you should keep a close eye on the Mar-a-Lago Accord. So again, you need to keep an eye on it and why. And so we've summarized all of this for you. Stay tuned. Come back on Thursday. And so you got Wednesday, you're going to hear about the inflation. You've got Oliver and the insights coming there. And then on Thursday, you're going to have the inflation announcement, but then we will talk about the Mar-a-Lago Accord. So you get some deeper insight into that. So stay tuned, follow us. Here's another article. Here's the FinMize article. You know, you got everything here. So yeah, we're just summarizing all of this for you. So you don't need to watch it in 4 different newsletters and read up all about it. So we'll try and help streamline that. Yeah, so we have the Truth Network. So that's pretty much it. All I wanted to cover here today. But I'm also happy to announce that we've back live. The Truth Token is back live again on Bitstamp, and we're happy to be working with an amazing team over there. Super motivated. I think they're excited on their next journey, getting ready for the next journey, and we really want to support them. And we are working with them to help understand more about the Truth Network. Here you can learn the truth and also earn truth. So we did the Learn and Earn program. What's in there? You get to learn a bit about the source of truth. Can we trust the numbers? The problem with truth in the digital age, building Truth Network, how the Truth Network works, real-time economic data, synthetic assets, custom, etc. Products from the Truth Network, which you can identify, Truflation, new one, index.fun. If you're watching the show, just go to Bitstamp. If you don't have an account, set one up. You can earn more truth by there. And it's a nice, healthy amount. So hope you enjoy that. You can learn about the future of economic data. All you need to do is answer some of these questions, right? Why is economic data often unreliable? You'll know the answer to that. It's all multiple choice, and here you can see the answers if you're reading quick. If you're not, I'm going to stop it right now so you can't see it anymore. Haha. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Yeah, just really wanted to share where we're at, what we're doing. Those were the 3 things that I really wanted to cover. It's still a bit long. It's not the 10 minutes we talked about. We've been live for 32 minutes, although I would add the 5 minutes, so 25 minutes. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks, everybody. Have a great couple of days, and we'll see you tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern on Spaces, on X. Come and listen. And then on Thursday, again, same time, same place, to join us. Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing day. Thanks. Hey, hey, how are you? Look at that nice, cute little dog.